go. So the feeling would be, now I have bad posture there. My back is sort of round shouldered. I'm 50 years old, so I'll give that as an excuse. So there's the steep backswing, and there's that shallow downswing. Let's see how I do. So I'm going back steep, very steep. I'm practicing the feeling there, and that wouldn't hurt you to practice that in a mirror. You know, just doing that. You know, if you had your bathroom mirror and you just took a club and just, you know, did this a few times every night, maybe 10 minutes or 20 minutes a night. Okay, so here I go. I'm steep. Now I'm going to shallow it out. All right. So what is my swing plane? Well, my biomechanical measurements are much different than yours. I have my arms are 2 inches shorter, and my forearm is longer than my upper arm. So my plane is steeper coming down than yours. You have longer arms, and your upper arm is longer than your lower arm. Mine's the opposite. My lower arm is 2 inches longer than my upper arm.
Okay.
So my swing plane is going to be steeper coming down. So, in actual fact, that line I drew over the elbow, I should be just underneath that when I come down, which is where I am. And that's a perfect plane for me. So that's an ideal swing for you. You want to be in that corridor. You want the shaft. Notice how the shaft plane is, now this is exaggerated. It's very vertical here. It's almost straight up and down, 85. And then as I come down, notice how I flatten it out. And then, of course, now we're back to a lower angle. But what's key is watch how the club stays right in that corridor. And notice how the hands are directly in line with the shaft. And the hands almost return back to the exact same angle. The shaft almost returns to the same angle as it starts. My hands are right here. I'm just putting a line here. Let me just mark this with a circle. Now, as I swing, the greatest ball strikers in the world, like Jim Furyk, he has this ability to return his hands back to the same exact position. And that's really important because you want congruency in terms of the angles. And you can see that the shaft angle at address and the shaft angle at impact are almost identical. And that's a good thing to do. And then notice after the ball's hit, when the shaft exits under my left shoulder, notice how it's almost dead parallel to the inclined plane established at address. You see how that club exits dead parallel? That's another thing that we want to be doing. So anyway, now I'll put you up here. Now that's just something, you know, we're not there yet, but you know, as you learn to take the club away properly, this other stuff will fall in place. You won't have to consciously be changing planes. The steeper you go back on the downswing, physics dictates for every action there's an equal opposite reaction. So when you go steeper, you're going to naturally want to shallow it out. That's just physics. Physics will dictate that. So really the key for you is just making sure we change that takeaway so that when you go back, you're not going way under the plane on the takeaway, and then you won't have that propensity to want to come steep. So here you take it back. This was one of the first swings. Your hands are on a pretty good path right there, but notice the club's way inside. So that when you go to cock your wrist, the shaft is too flat. So conversely, when I do it, my hands are on the plane, but look how steep the shaft is going back. So we just want to steepen the angle of the shaft a little bit. That's all. All right.